Sometimes you guys might have even seen the small things I've been doing standing over here, right? All of that stuff becomes a lot easier when you understand the fundamentals. So much so that I can really sit here and do it all day long while I'm talking, right? I don't have to think about it because I practice it so much that it's literally like I'm walking, right? Raise your hand if you think about when you walk. Trick question. Where we're going, right, which inspires us to walk, okay? So in the same case in point, when you're thinking about seeing these cool things we're doing, you want to figure out how did we start before we got there. Does that make sense? What did we do to help us start being able to do all these cool, amazing things when we get in a lot more? So it starts to hurt. Even my arm's starting to hurt a little bit more now just for doing it, right? Absolutely, right? We want to make sure we have a little bit more of an even control of the stick. It's always what you want to find. And the best way to find that, we'll get to that after our next two steps. I don't want you to get too much, right? Be careful of the person near you, right? Right? And I want to make sure I can see that. I want to make sure I can see that crease, right? Because when you do that, it's like you're fastening your hand, right? You're closing that gap between your thumb and your hand to really make sure the stick is there. Now make sure you aren't too tight, right? You see how my hand's stripped? You don't want it to be too tight. It's just enough to make sure that that's secure. Okay? Step 2, you want to make sure that your palm is flat. Now what will happen when you do that is you'll automatically see how your stick looks a lot straighter. Okay? When your palm is facing flat, your hand instantly is going to turn that stick into an angle, right? You're playing with a matched grip so that the hands match and you can feel the same thing from each one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. So now, number 2, making sure that that palm is facing down. Number 3, making sure that that thumb is correctly placed against the stick, right? You don't want it to be sliding up or underneath, right? I see a lot of people sometimes do the ball fist. That's not going to give you the right control. You want to make sure it has direction. So that way when you start, right, we use what is called the fulcrum. That's what that thumb placement creates, right? That point of contact that has the best control. Right? Just like walking. Remember what Mr. Brown said. It's just like when you're tying your shoes. Right? Eventually you just know how to tie your shoes and you don't have to think about it anymore. But the only way that happens is because you have to keep trying to tie your shoes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the only way that these hands become automatically like that slice of pie is if you try those 4 steps every day. And I'm going to be sure to make sure that your teacher, Mr. Holland, has that for you all. So remember, every time you want to pick up a pair of sticks. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
When you're by yourself. You're playing together, whatever you're doing. Like if you count something slow, you gotta make sure that you're playing just as slow and just as in time as he counted it off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Like one of the things I get excited to do this. So for example, it should be done. Not this. Not cram, done. Wait, no.
Get down there.
All right, so let's do that real quick. You ready? Let's sit. Stand up. Stand up straight. Stand up straight. Thumbs on the stick.
Just watch him back here.
There you go, baby.
Okay, that's good. Mission.
There we go. On time, right? On 3, right? Here we go. Let's go ahead. We're just gonna do sticks out. Don't play a beat. Here we go. Go. Time it out. We got it. Alright, do it again. Back. Hurry up. Let's go. Run it. Back up. Alright, so this time before we come out, I want everyone to make sure that their sticks are close towards the rim or the drum so we can be ready to play, okay? It's gonna be kind of hard to play beats when we down here and we gotta come up. Alright, so let's try that again. 1 second. Don't do wrong this time. Yeah, come out some right there. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Let me see you. Alright, thumb, remember? Thumb. I'm gonna keep the thumbs on the sticks, guys. Tennis, points. I like the points. Come this way all the time. Alright. Those, come up. Stand up straight. Go ahead. Alright. Almost. Beat. This time I just want BDs. So actually I want all y'all come out. Then I'm gonna fix your position over the drum or by the drum. Because we want to make sure we're hitting in the center of the head or in our zone. Okay, so you need the best sound out of the drum. Let's try it again. Don't move. Alright. Don't move. BDs, that's fine in the center. Almost there. Come up just a little bit, big man. Perfect. Pull back some, man. We're gonna teach you about that later. Pull back a little. Center, come out some. Center of the head. What we doing? Seven, what's up the same? Real quick. Snares, I want you to do me a favor, right? Snares stand like this, just like this. Put them all the way to a 12. Keep it there. Tennis, Quince, stand like this for me. 12. BD, do this for me. Stand right here for 1 second. Stand right there. Alright, so right now what you're doing is mimicking a height 12. This is a 12, okay? You're mimicking a 12. Are you all mimicking? This is a 12, height 12. So when I say legato strokes at 12,
Especially if you want to be the best, right? If you want to be considered the best, these things matter. And they're very important, very imperative. So make sure that you're always thinking of details when you pick up your sticks, when you practice, when you perform, when you just play it around. Make sure you always have that discipline to be like, the little things matter. The slice of pie matters, right? The grandpa's mouth, right? In the grandpa's mouth, that matters. How you place your stick on the hand. The little things like that matter. Not here, or not here, or not up here. Like, these things matter. So make sure that you're thinking of these things. You guys are the base note section, right? So you're like the foundation of the drum line. Everybody's really building it off of you guys. You like the meat. You like burgers? The meat of the burger is base note. That's the heart, right? The heartbeat. So just make sure you're thinking on the page.
Alright, so can I go ahead and get everybody set? Alright, let's make sure that our feet are put together, right? So in this case, when we're standing together, it's heel to heel connection, right? I mean, when we say the details matter, we mean every time looks exactly like the next person. If we were to take a picture of one of you guys, it would look like we took a picture of all of it at the same time. Does that make sense? So that means when we take a picture, we all look the same. Meaning, for one, you want to make sure your head is facing forward, right? I know you guys are listening and looking, and we know the eyes all respect certain ideas. What you want to think is as soon as it's time for you all to play, everyone knows exactly what to do. Does that make sense? That's why we practice. That's why we give you guys the same reminders. You know why? Because we remember that earlier. And guess what? Our instructors reminded us not to do this, not to move, not to move.
start first. My odd sums. 1, 2, ready, and 5, 6, 7, 8.
We doing the bucks. Do y'all remember when we went in there and I told y'all that we need to be at a 12 with the stick straight up? Let me see stick straight up real quick. Just hold the stick straight up. That's what you should feel on the accent of the book. All right, you got to get your stick straight up vertically in the air like that. That's a 12. That's what I want you playing it. Now that small tap in between, that's just a tap. That's at a level 1. Let's aim for a 1. Show me a 1 on your drum. Everybody do this on your drum with the stick. Do this on the drum with your stick. That's a 1. That's what the tap should be. Is that low? Yeah. So y'all mimic that, okay? All right. Run bucks. Section lead, I need you to check them out. Let's go. Buck. Turn your wrist. Turn your wrist, turn your wrist, turn your wrist. Alright. Go. See how the sticks are all the way here? I need that. Here we go again. 1, 2, ready, and. Yeah. You see how it's all big and loose, right? Now do that. Now do that when you put the doodles together. Alright? Now look, there is no reason for our pinky to leave the stick. We need that. We gotta utilize that, right? Yeah. You doing this.
You trying to do that?
You gotta, alright, so look, sticks, chill on.
I
Everybody
can't do it that high though.
I'm gonna teach you how.
Chill out.
I'm gonna teach you how. You can. Wanna know what needs to happen? You gotta bounce the basketball twice. Let's go, let's go, let's go. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 2, ready, and.